I'll show you how it's done. Shazam!
Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Underdeveloped, where we react and review to everything film, TV, and hopefully in the future, anime, video games, and novelizations.
All that, probably some more we didn't think of, but hey, we're down for anything, really. We're open to new ideas, new things.
So today we have a film that just came out,
Yeah, a very new film.
Wonder Woman 1984, directed by Patty Jenkins, who also directed the prequel, Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And she's also a co-writer alongside Jeff Johns and somebody else, and produced by the Snyder couple, Deborah and Zachary.
Yeah, the Snyders.
Which is ironic. He produced a colorful film.
I know. It's fucking drab-ass looking movies. He produced something that actually looks very vibrant and beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, first off, I'm just going to say what I think about this film overall. I think it's very meh. I think it's not bad. It's just that it kind of, overall, it kind of falls under the pitfalls of what having a PG-13 superhero movies nowadays. It falls under those cliches. This movie takes place like 70 years after the first.
Yeah, roughly 70 years.
Roughly 7 years after the first film, and Diana has been living amongst humans. You know, she opened up a ranch called Trevor Ranch. She has a picture with this mysterious old woman. Like, I don't know if that's her daughter or anything. I don't know. She just holding her on a boat. I don't know what that's about. And other things. She basically been around. She's been doing a lot of stuff, but somehow she remains aloof and alone and kind of like just like and trying to avoid developing meaningful relationships with people. It seems, which is weird to the point where even Barbara, who's on Cheetah, Kristen Wiig, she even said like, "You seem like somebody that would be interesting. Why don't you not hang around people? You seem like somebody that people would be interested in hanging out with."
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I felt. I'm like, yeah, that makes no sense. And I get it. She's still like kind of harped over Trevor, but I'm like,
It's been
you had 70 years, like.
man.
Get over it, fam. like I get it, you know what I mean? Like that's her first love, her first introduction into.
Like, I can see her taking a long time away from loving again, but 70 years, that's a lot there.
Yeah,
For that long...
it's a lifetime, man. We introduced to this female named Barbara Minerva, who is very unlike her comic counterpart. However, you know, she does come with that Kristen Wiig charm. I'll say with that little quirky, kind of like nerdy, forgetful, but pretty. And primed to make like a real sexy makeover and be the queen of the rom-com story. Like that's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, it gave me serious Princess Diaries vibes. They're already pretty; they don't need to be touched up.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, she's really hot. I'm like, I don't know why people don't like her, but I get it. And her charisma and her like her natural her natural charm won me over from the beginning. So I was drawn into her, which makes it sad that they didn't really flesh her out enough. She meets Diana, so Barbara meets Diana because everybody's mean to her, and Diana's the only one that shows any kind of kindness, and they hit it off, and they become somewhat friends, and they come across this ancient artifact that reads in Latin that it could basically make people's wishes come true. So as a joke, somebody says, "Hey, I wish for some coffee," and then it happened, and I guess that prompts them to as a joke to do the same thing. But her thing was like, when she wasn't around Diana, I was like, I would like to be like Diana. And then not knowing that, she ended up becoming as pretty as her, but also as strong as her. And she gets consumed by her power. And meeting, and then that's her, and that's one villain setup. And then you have the other one, which is obviously Pedro Pascal's character, Maxwell Lord, who is absolutely nothing like his comic counterpart at all, even worse than Cheetah. Like, almost a whole new character. It's like they only want to use these names because they have name recognition within the DC Comics. It's just stupid.
Dude, I mean, you could have just had Pedro Pascal. Like, he could have really had him play himself and be the villain.
I'm like, it would work. Not say he did a bad job.
No, Pedro Pascal is charming as fuck. Like he's always entertaining on screen.
Yeah, and he has this Filipino son. With I don't know where that come from because I don't know if the wife is Asian or not. Yeah. And he doesn't know. He doesn't like Pedro ex-wife, but he doesn't like Pedro Pascal at all. No. But either or, there is one powerful scene in introduction. Like when first off, he comes across as one of those YouTubers that kind of ever been on like a YouTube ad and you have somebody that's saying that, hey, hey, I can help you build a company, or I can help you. This is the guide to success. Buy my books. I can make you rich without working really hard, staying at home. He might be one of those kind of guys who sells dreams, which is very appropriate for what his power will become. Mm-hmm. So he decides. So because he's like an oil guy whose company's completely failing, he be walking into insert footage, of course. No, add me saying it, of course, because you tend to do shit like that. But anyways, so we see him we see him touring through his building. Well, it's nice, but it's completely abandoned. And he runs into one of his investors who's like, dude, you fucked up, you're a loser. And that makes him really sad. And he speaks with this kid. He's like, I'm not a loser. That guy's talking shit. And it prompts him to be really jealous and angry. Mm-hmm. And he gets a hold for somehow. I don't know how he knew about it, but
he just kind of already knows what it is.
He knows about it, and he knew exactly how to use it. And he said, "Fuck that! I'm gonna." So basically, this boon is powered by the god Dolos, who is actually a villain of Wonder Woman. And this thing is like it grants wishes, but it is at a cost. You know, it's like a genie, like a genie giving you wishes, and then and something in return bad happens to you. But he absorbs that power, and he absorbs the power to grant people wishes, and he uses that he fuses that with his like whole shtick of like, you want to be rich, you can have it, or what do you wish for? And he builds his company from the ground up, and he slowly takes over the world. But in doing so, it subsequently causes it causes chaos. On a global scale. So obviously, and for Diana, of course, when she came in contact with, she wished for Trevor back. But we don't see Trevor. It's just this guy that's Steve Trevor's. It's this guy with Steve Trevor, but he's in some guy's body. Yeah. And Wonder Woman and Gal Gadot, Diana is the only person that could see Trevor as he is. So the scenario is really different. It's kind of like she's like was very new to the world. You know what I'm saying? In the first one, fish out of water kind of deal.
Now
Chris Pratt is Steve Trevor.
No, he's the fish out of water.
I love it does translate his love of flight to the screen.
It does.
You know what I mean? Like when he sees like how the planes are, like how the new planes are built and how fast they can go, and they can go from like I remember he's saying like, you have a plane that can actually fly to Egypt in one take. That's so cool. You know what I'm saying? So like it's fun to see them seem like really amazed by it. It was a nice little character development.
And remember we went to the fucking space museum?
Yeah, and he
was just looking at the astronaut. He was like this weird alien.
He was like a kid, like, you go to space now? Oh my god! And I'm like,
think about how crazy it is, like, because flight was invented that long before World War I.
Yeah, so imagine,
and like fucking now you're taking him from this brand new technology of airplanes and like, hey, we go to space now. We go to the fucking moon, bitch.
That's freaking incredible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's incredible that happened in such a short time span at all. Really.
I like Wonder Woman. Like he's somebody that didn't like the first one. I did. Yeah. I didn't think it was great, but I enjoyed it. It probably has a little step. It's probably a step above this one, and that's because I love like their relationship, their dynamic in the first one was really good, and that chemistry still spilled over to this film. I feel. It was still very strong. I still had that same charisma, but the whole thing was kind of building off what they already built in the first one. So to kind of just bring that back, I get the reason for bringing him back, but to bring that back kind of waters down impactful the first one was.
It does water down his death. It does make it. It does.
But that was part of their thing. Like they just couldn't have enough time, but they were perfect. You know what I'm saying? And just him introducing, and Steve had more of a pivotal role in the first one. Like we were literally, we got sucked into his war. You know, he had things he had to do, and he played a part.
Exactly. Like,
and this, he just kind of Diana's role buddy. You know what I mean? Like, a role dog. You know what I'm saying?
Like he's just kind of hanging around for good chunks.
All right, let's get back into villains.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to say about villains? Because I know you probably have your feelings about it.
Yeah, I do. It's like I think we already said what we need to say about like Maxwell Lord. I think, because I think we already went over that he's just nothing like the original Counterpart. He's fun.
But let's go into what makes him a good villain, though. Outside of
what makes him a good villain is that we understand where he's coming from. Yeah. You know, like this man's been unlucky his entire fucking life. Everything that could go wrong for him did, and now he like discovers power that makes him more or less lucky. That just gives him like anything he wants. Yeah. So he just goes overboard with it, like anyone probably would. Because he's not really, like, malicious. He's not really, like, evil or anything.
No, he don't care about, like, he wants to ruin people. He wants to ruin people, but he doesn't really understand his consequences because he's too self-absorbed in his own. He's already like very indulged and self-absorbed, and he also he also harbors a lot of self-hate and resentment toward himself that he just focuses on his own issues where nothing else really matters. That's why it's a good thing that kid is there to remind him that he's doing this for somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, what I love about his characters when he got his powers, it really it was actually a missed opportunity. I felt because here you have him. He grants people's powers, right? He grants people's wishes, their greatest desires, and in return, he pretty much takes what contradicts their whole wish in the first place.
But the president is like, "Oh, I'll give you some more nukes, but I'll have your authority."
Yeah, I'm basically the boss of you. You don't think he'll have an ending similar to that? You know what I'm saying? Like especially in the ending where he's like taking everybody's life force. That's overall will kill him or something. You know what I mean? Something. He needs to have a bad ending.
Yeah.
I felt his ending didn't do him justice. It kind of, and it was never resolved. He kind of ended the wish. He renounced his wish, and then he went back to hug his kid and be like, "I'm here."
Yeah, he went back to hug his kid. Everything is magically going back to the way it was.
Yeah, like no punishment.
I feel like he didn't deserve that happy ending.
Me neither. It was well undeserved. Like, I understand it, but it was undeserved.
Given all the fucking bullshit he did in this movie, Swart's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he was. And Pedro Pascal, not to say that he's bad in this role. It's just that I wouldn't have made a decision to make him Maxwell Lord.
No, like just to like cast him as a, it's like they try to make him a white dude.
Yeah, and I'm like he's
weird.
Chilean. Like he's from South America. He's not. He's not white guys.
To be honest, like,
do you know that?
They showed his like made a whole new.
And where's the Filipino son coming from? Like, is he adopted? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's Filipino, but he looks Filipino or something. Like, he definitely looks Asian, and I'm like, what is? Even if his mother is that nationality, I'm like, he still needs to look mixed, and that kid looks full. Like, is his steps? You know what I mean? Like, that's just like
it's
strange.
A weird thing. It's a weird thing about like movies where they'll have like mixed couples, but they'll struggle to find actors to play mixed children.
Yeah, like in Lucifer, like Linda and Amanda's baby is just dark skinned. I'm like, was he biracial?
Yeah.
Like, what is that about?
It looks like Linda had nothing to do with that baby.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the themes then. Oh wait, no,
we didn't talk about Cheetah.
Cheetah, right?
We focus on Pedro.
Well, I kind of did talk about. I kind of told in the early parts. Yeah. So her thing was that she wanted to become more like Diana, because Diana's somebody that she could see getting respect. So therefore, she got attention. She wanted people to see her. She's like a nobody who wants attention. That's pretty much. It's very simple. It's very like Hillary Duff teen comedy kind of thing. Lindsay Lohan. You know what I'm saying? It's very much like that.
Yeah, it's very much like that, but. But what makes it work in a lot of those other stuff that you mentioned, then they're like that's a much bigger focus. It's given time to grow.
Yeah.
Well, here it's like it feels like they're shoving a lot of stuff in. Like that. That's what it kind of hurts the villains because we have like 3 major story arcs here because we have Cheetah shit, we have Maxwell Lord shit, and we have Steve coming back.
This suffers from what I like to call the Spider-Man 3 syndrome, where you just overstuff with too many villains, too many characters.
Yeah.
That's how Amazing Spider-Man 2 fell off, and a whole bunch of other superhero films and films that falls off. You have one specific villain and you deal with that.
Yeah.
You don't need to have too much villains. I get it, they do play off each other somehow, but she's rendered to become Cheetah is a boss in the comics. She has a great backstory.
She is a boss.
She's rendered to being Maxwell Lord's bodyguard.
Yeah, she's his fucking goon.
Pretty much, yeah. It's goon, pretty much.
That's exactly what she is. She's just a thug for Maxwell Lord.
And have like the most stupidest reason for becoming a Cheetah. And then because the CGI was so terrible, they shot that shit in the dark. But we still know it's shitty. Like, we still have eyes, bro. I felt that she did have a growing arc. I felt that she did. I felt that it was gradual. It just was given to us bits and pieces scattered throughout the film. It wasn't. We didn't have time to emphasize.
It was the bare minimum of what they could have given us.
Yeah, because they could have really concentrated on her and Diana's friendship, which they didn't. Yeah. She kind of just hanging out once, and then they kind of the only time they really came back together was really to be like, "Hey, what's wrong with this fucking artifact? Find this person for me. Find that for me." Oh, you're gonna renounce the wishes and stop him? No, because then I can't be cool anymore and strong, and men won't like, and an Asian guy won't like me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty much the whole purpose. And then she just got tight and they started beating upon Diana.
This would be like Electro Amazing Spider-Man 2 if he became the Electro in like the last third of the movie. That's exactly what this was.
And they shoehorn that fight scene in so hard.
Yeah, it's not even a good fight scene.
It's pointless. It's just there just to be like, oh, it's the trailers. Yeah. You know what I mean? So let's put that in. They obviously expect a big fight. It's Cheetah, the main villain.
She takes her like it's nothing. It ain't that big of a deal.
Yeah, like it's no,
Like,
nothing happened.
There's a lot of really cool action sequences in this movie. This was not one of them. This is easily the worst.
And then she's just flying out of nowhere, which is weird because she doesn't fly in one of the future movies that she's in. Mm-hmm. So okay, cool, fine. And I get it. They kind of did the whole thing with Trevor, like the reason for why he likes flying and how he feels when he's flying, and she relayed that to her, and she started gliding in the air, which is fine. She flies in the comics, so I can accept that, I guess. And she is a demigod, so Zeus can fly, so I'm pretty sure she can. So fine, whatever. But I hate the way it looked when she was flying, like she was just swan diving through the clouds. They're trying to go for a more graceful thing, and I'm just a fan of the Man of Steel flying.
To be honest,
like shooting in the air like a bullet.
To be honest, I'm fine with it. Like, really, maybe I was just glad that we got away from the Visible Jet. Because the Visible Jet's in this movie.
I liked it. Well, kind of. But I hate the reasoning for it, but I like it.
No, I hate the Invisible Jet. I think that's the stupidest goddamn thing Wonder Woman's ever been involved with.
Yeah, how can she freaking like make a visible jet like visible like how Zeus thing is invisible?
She was just like she was like waving her hands like she's like, oh yeah, I saw someone told me a long time ago how to do this thing where I can just turn things invisible.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I've been studying for 50 years. I can make things invisible now.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could have easily done that in Justice League. You could easily done that in BVS. What the fuck? But quickly, we'll go into like the mise en scène. I love like the vibrant color palette. Like I love how her suit, because if you watch the first one and BVS, it's just very dark, but now you see the colors pop out, like the red, the blue. It's always a little too oversaturated, but I like it. I love
the way this movie
makes
looks.
me feel good. Especially, I love the scene where they was on like this, I guess the studio lot, with Warner Brothers, and she was eating, like she was drinking coffee.
Yeah, it was like this little
cafe. Yeah, and you and that building that was near, like I guess the cafe or the restaurant, it had like a teal on the sides, and it was white, like very picket fencey white, like suburban white, like in the front. It just really felt like really homely vibes. You know, I don't know, it's really colorful, really nice. You know what I mean? Like,
the colors in the movie are just fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
like it just looks great.
Yeah, like, and I love how Themyscira looks. Themyscira looks pretty with like the bluish blues, and it was good CG in terms of like how they obviously CG'd a lot of those landscapes with Themyscira, of course.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked fantastic with like the bright sunlight hitting it, the overly saturated baby blue ocean. The themes here is like truth versus lies, because obviously Diana embodies truth. That's like the essence of her whole character.
That's been a thing of her character since day one.
And in Dolos, he's literally the god of lies, and that's his object. That little crystal thingy that used to grant people wishes.
Yeah.
So and so like and the opening scene kind of alluded to that. It correlates because it correlates to the central conflict, because it shows that she tried to take a shortcut to win, but Robin Wright's character stopped her, and was like, it's okay if you lose, you're not ready yet. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the importance of like just being honorable, I guess. And that's pretty much what saves the entire film. Yeah. So it kind of correlates, and it's also it leads to shortcuts.
It very much does, because that's her literally taking a shortcut in what all these wishes doing. You're just taking these quick ass shortcuts.
And the best aspect of having Steve in this movie was the fact that it showed that she's trying to cut corners. Instead of moving on, she rather just stay in past, and have Steve come back, but he's not really back. Just to fulfill her needs, but she needs to understand that it was a world out there and you need to move on. Yeah. So she needs to let go. So that served its purpose.
Yeah. Steve lived his life.
Yeah. He's fine with the decisions he's made. And that's why, like the first one, he was content. It was unfulfilled, but it was content at the same time.
I didn't think you really need to bring him back. It was cool to see him back.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It was good to see him back. It's good to see them kissing each other and having fun together, but
it wasn't really necessary.
Yeah, you didn't need it. And you could have either do Cheetah or do Maxwell Lord. I would say prefer Maxwell Lord.
Yeah. I can't prefer him.
But Cheetah was good too. Like Cheetah could have been a good story too.
You could have taken either of these two villains and just made them one dope ass villain.
And the whole thing about Cheetah's character, by the way, going back to the villain stuff, is that she ended up losing her compassion, because it took away her compassion to become more powerful, and she tried to crave power, and she wanted to become like an apex predator. So as an apex predator, I figured it would have been like more ballsy if she actually did something that, was you couldn't take back. Like kill somebody.
I mean, she like beat the shove dude, but she didn't kill him.
Yeah, out of dude, she didn't kill him. I said, yeah, she
I think she should have killed that dude.
Her descent should have came like more at a cost. You know what I mean? Like do something that she can't come back from. So could that would make the third act, when they bat each other, more edgy. Yeah. Because she crossed the line. Here are these friends, and one friend just went complete dark side. She got consumed by that power. But Diane's able to break it. That would have been powerful. Right?
Yeah, that would have been.
We didn't get that. So.
No. They just... they just threw so much shit on the wall, you know. Just
Yeah, nobody really got to come up as the way they should.
no, they really didn't. Like, I feel it just feels like the whole resolution just feels just very weak because
Yeah, extremely weak. Like this corny PG speech.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? With when she lassoed up what's his face?
yeah.
Lord Maxwell Lord.
I mean, it was like really like speech fighting like that can work, but I feel like it was the way she was doing was just too much.
Yeah.
The whole thing with giving like the villain a speech that doesn't really bother me so much usually, but here like what he did just seems too bad. It seems too bad for me to like want him to come back from that. For him to want me to want to be.
I agree.
Like, no, like for all this shit, like he ruined so many lives. He did so much fucking shit. I fucking want to see him suffer. I feel like he really
almost
he didn't deserve a happy
nuclear holocaust.
Yeah. He
You know what I mean?
almost went war games on our asses.
He
didn't deserve a happy
rockets
ending.
were shooting. I mean, like rockets was going off. Bombs were like was ready to go.
Yeah.
Like
Facts.
that's unforgivable. You know, he corrupted people. He took people's life forces. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. What he did.
People fucking died because of him. Like, one dude literally was like, oh, I wish you dropped dead. And she dropped dead.
Did she come back to life? Who knows?
Yeah, like, we didn't see anything get really rectified. There was a lot happening, but not a lot of resolution to what was happening.
And overall, this just wasn't as compelling as the first one to me. First one to me was like a lot more like angst because we didn't know who this guy Ares was. We just knew he was a scary threat, and Diana was going in this alone, and she was in World War One, like a real event. So we had to see her face some Germans. To me, the first one was just better in my opinion overall. Having more on the edge of my seats. This one just wasn't as compelling for me. It was okay. You know, this wasn't as exciting as the first one. So this one gets a hard 2.8 for me on the GPA scale.
Like, I think it's a little better than first. Like, I don't think the first one's nearly as good as you were like describing it.
That's your opinion, and a lot of people feel the first one's better. But okay, that's your opinion.
Like,
go ahead.
the first one was just very boring. This one is at least like mildly entertaining. I'd give it like a 2.7.
I know the first one was entertaining, but okay, sure.
I'd give this movie a 2.7. I'm like right below you.
So I guess we agree to disagree then. I like the first one. You don't like it. I think it's entertaining. You don't.
No,
It is what it is.
The movie's boring as shit.
I didn't think so. I like the love story. I like the action scenes. Has some great sequences.
It's literally.
I love their love story.
Dude, it's literally love at first sight. I fucking hate that kind of love story.
So let's close it out.
Alright, so if you want, so keep in mind we have a whole bunch of other videos on this channel. We have a great video on Do the Right Thing. We have plenty of other reactions and reviews, all that jazz, all sorts of wonderful things. So please keep an eye out for all that stuff. Anything that interests you, please watch our power stuff because we fucking love our power stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, like please like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and hit that notification bell so you get things as soon as we make them, as soon as we put them up.
With power, I'll say it's more fitting how I act. Like the super high energy, the constant commentary. Trust me, it works for something like Power.
The man who killed James St. Patrick.
We know she's not saying Tariq, so let's spit it out.
She's probably gonna say sex.
Oh.
It's Tommy Egan.
I knew Tommy.
He did say
I knew
Tommy.
it.
Because I asked him.
Oh! She just. Whoa! Whoa!
Why did you say that?
Why did you say that?